So the PARCC is a high quality test, but it has from 30 to 40% of the questions are at a higher level than the grade it's given at. So if you take the PARCC in 3rd grade, you're going to have a fair number of questions that are based on a 5th grader or a 4th grader. So it's a test that's demoralizing to both give and to take. I mean, we have students every year who just, can barely stand to take the test. And then most of them are disabled students have to take it, and they don't do well, and it doesn't work well for them. So there's nothing wrong with PARCC itself. It is a very high quality test. But the way we've used it in New Mexico has really created a lot of pushback on the test by having it be the main thing we use for teacher evaluation, the main thing we use for school grades. And students are more than just one test on one day. And so we want to move to better measures, to multiple measures, to measures that will help teachers improve their teaching and improve their practice.
We're looking at about 4 years now of PARCC data in terms of, students have been taking the test for the last 4 years. The hard part that I see in trying to change that at this point is you start from zero. You have no historical data on your students. So, for example, when PARCC was introduced, the SBA was the test that was being used prior, and you didn't have a way to crosswalk over that data. So you really didn't have a good baseline as to where that student was to see whether they were making progress or not. So one of the hangups of switching over from PARCC to some other test, whichever type of testing selected, you then have a problem with not having a baseline that you have to reestablish. Whether there's data sets within PARCC that they're usable, maybe some are, some aren't. I would say that any test that you use to measure student performance and student growth, there are going to be pros and cons to it. There will be those that detract from PARCC for whatever reasons they may have, and those are in many cases legitimate complaints against what the test may provide. But on the other hand, you do have, PARCC's not just exclusive to New Mexico. There's other states that use it. There's some states that were using it that are now using a modified version of PARCC. So I think there's quite a few things out there. I kind of feel like the term PARCC, it sort of became a negative in the way the media reported it and the way folks talked about PARCC. It became this big scary test that people didn't want to have their students or their children taking. And in reality, I don't know that's the right sort of context that the test really is. I think it's a measure of student performance.